Well, the Senate race in Pennsylvania between Republican candidates Dr. Oz and David McCormick is really just still too close to call. Oz holding a razor-thin lead over McCormick. Former President Trump calling on Mehmet Oz to declare victory, despite the last few votes still trickling in. Joining us now, national political reporter Julia Manchester from our partners at The Hill. So, Julia, tell us just how close are they at this point, and how likely are we to see a recount?
Well, they are only thousands of votes apart at this, Nicole, and I would say at this point, depending on when other counties report their votes, we know that Allegheny County may not report votes until, I believe, tomorrow or maybe a few more days. You know, we won't really know whether there's going to be a recount, but I would say they are definitely in that threshold to definitely meet a recount. Now, if Dr. Oz were to follow President Trump's call or advice to declare victory, that would make the process, I think, a little more complicated and definitely even more political than it's turned out on both sides of this issue. So definitely a lot to watch, but we'll be watching as more counties continue to report these votes, just a couple thousand votes separating them.
All right, so Julia, I do want to get into what would happen if Dr. Oz were to declare victory. But first, you know, we don't know yet if there will be a recount. If there is, in fact, one, what's the timeline for that?
You know, we don't really know yet. A recount could take maybe a couple of days, weeks. We really have to see. But I think it's going to be, frustrating for both of the campaigns who really want to get into general election mode. Look, you know, you have John Fetterman, and despite the fact he's still recovering from a stroke he suffered over the weekend, you know, the Democratic apparatus backing Fetterman and Fetterman's campaign, they're getting a jump start on this general election campaign, continuing to hammer the Republican side. In fact, John Fetterman's campaign announced that within 24 hours of him winning that nomination, they raised $1.6 million. So this is definitely frustrating for Oz and McCormick. And, you know, any political expert would tell you these very bruising primaries aren't always great for the eventual winner, because the winner comes out of a fractured party. So, you know, if Republicans unite around David McCormick or Dr. Oz, depending on who wins, you know, I think that Republicans should hope to unite, because if they don't, that would only play into Fetterman's hands.
Yeah, certainly. Okay, let's get back to Donald Trump, you know, telling Dr. Oz to just go ahead and declare victory. So if he were to do that, you know, is it fair to say that would complicate the recount effort?
I think it would complicate the recount effort. I mean, it would depend, you know, if the recount effort went forward, and hypothetically, if, you know, David McCormick was declared the winner in that recount, you know, that the ball would then be in Oz's court. What would he do at that point if he declared victory? So it puts everyone in an awkward position. Of course, if Oz declared victory and he won the recount, you know, that would be one thing. But I think you're already seeing Democrats really want to pounce on Dr. Oz if he were to declare victory, because they see that President Trump is once again, you know, pushing this idea that there could have been any sort of bad business happening behind the scenes in terms of counting those ballots. He says it makes it easier for them not to cheat. So, you know, I think Democrats would love to attack Dr. Oz on that, but it seems like as of now, Dr. Oz is not going to declare victory. He's waiting.
All right. So, you know, speaking of attacks, you know, coming at Republicans, I'd like to flip that. And, you know, whoever does, of course, end up winning the Republican nomination, as you mentioned, they're going to be going up against a strong Democratic candidate, current Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, as you also mentioned, dealing with very public health issues at the moment. Do you foresee his health issues potentially being used against him once the ballot is set?
You know, we can't really say at this point. It's still very early, but we do know that health issues have been used against candidates in the past. I mean, we see Republicans constantly attacking President Biden for being older. We saw on the flip side, Democrats attacking President Trump for an unhealthy lifestyle. You know, when John McCain ran for president in 2008, there was always the question of his age and, you know, the physical ability to take on such a you know, I guess, intense job as president of the United States. So, you know, sure, I could definitely see that being a possibility, because we've seen it in past campaign playbooks.
Yeah, we will certainly see. First, we have to get that Republican side set. All right, Julia Manchester, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.